Hi, I'm Lucid. This is Global Relief Village. It's been coming together for a few years. We recently were feeding the people affected by the floods in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we fed in Standing Rock. And this is a vision of a small, dynamic disaster relief organization that can function in all the ways that these large, like UN and Red Cross organizations haven't been able to. So this main kitchen teepee is the largest teepee in the world currently, according to the Guinness Book, and it's got a series of rocket stoves in it. It's capable of making 100 gallons an hour of food. And then this other component of this village is these workshop teepees that is an educational aspect. So it takes care of existence and education primarily. So this first aspect of the existence of this the kitchen teepee, it's the foundation of like all other aid organizations, in the sense that you have to have food and filtered water and medical and basic sanitation before you can engage in your permaculture project or your refugee camp or anything else that's happening. It's kind of the basis of all small aid organizations. And this teepee here, it's 10 times larger than what the UN has been using for the similar price, but it's hurricane proof. It's easy to set up, it's less than 1,000 pounds, and it contains currently the kitchen necessary to make 100 gallons an hour. So let's take a look.
While we're walking, can you tell us where we're at, our viewers, where we're at and where
we're
set
at the
up?
National Rainbow Gathering in Oregon, and this is a perfect place to work out all the kinks and the problems and troubleshoot anything that needs to happen so that everything can run smoothly if we were in the field or doing disaster relief.
In a non-emergency situation, so you're helping feed people that are hungry here in this environment, and before taking this setup to a disaster zone emergency.
Yeah, it's been set up in Rainbow for about 6 years, because there's very few places where you can actually give away a couple hundred gallons of food every day and work on the water systems and everything. So Rainbow has been a perfect trial ground for getting this thing set up really well. And then just last fall was the first time actually doing disaster relief, feeding people affected by the floods. Immediately afterwards, we went to Standing Rock. We brought a big kitchen set up in these large teepees. We left 7 teepees there for the water protectors to use. And then immediately afterwards, my girlfriend and I went to Lesbos, Greece, right off the coast of Turkey, to work in refugee camps run by the UN, another refugee camp run by anarchists, to assess the viability of setting this whole project up as a refugee camp.
Wow, amazing, so incredible.
So, as I mentioned, this is the world's largest teepee currently, according to Guinness Book, but it's less than 1,000 pounds. It's cheaper than what the UN is spending on a structure 10 times smaller. It can be set up by just a few people in less than a day, and the material is so strong, if it's attached to the ground well, it's essentially hurricane proof.
Hey, what's up, man?
So this is the rocket stove system. There's these 7 rocket stoves that are vented out at the top, and each keg, stainless steel keg, holds 15 gallons, so together it's 100 gallons altogether. But the whole thing is made essentially out of recycled material. These barrels, the angle iron, the kegs, the stove stack, everything is able to be made out of recycled material for very low cost, often donated for free, so that there's very low overhead. Same thing with these prep tables. They're all made out of recycled material that's able to be sourced really easily. And these carts, on the other hand, are the same way. These carts move a few hundred pounds of gear in. There's 10 of them associated with this teepee. And everything is able to be made really cheaply and efficiently with recycled material. These carts have been essential in getting the gear into really remote locations. So a small organization like this would really flourish in a place where you need to feed and provide the basic services for 7,000 to 10,000 people, which is often a smaller community than a large organization like Red Cross or the UN would be able to facilitate. Here we have the water filtration system. We can fill this up with, when we have the UV sterilizer, we can fill up 300 gallons of water in an hour. So this is kind of a prototype in some ways. These workstations, they set up on fold-out sawhorses. It all sets up really quickly. Everything comes in, kind of pre-assembled. The canvas goes up in 3 pieces, and the whole thing can be set up in just a few hours.
A few hours. That's amazing. Very impressive. It looks like you're very resourceful and industrious with the equipment that you put together and what you're using.
I was trying to design the best possible rocket stove, and then I realized that I should be making the simplest possible stove. And so I made these stoves out of recycled materials and just the minimum amount. One barrel makes 2 different stoves, just a little bit of angle iron, and then these kegs are also good to come by. So trying to keep an eye towards simplicity and reproducibility. Making it so that it could be duplicated easily in a third world country or otherwise completely duplicated to be able to send the entire project to other places. So this physical kitchen is the foundation of all the other aid projects that this organization is engaged with, whether it's permaculture or any kind of disaster relief or anything. This existence aspect is the first thing that you need to focus on. You need to make sure that people have the basic tools for existence. But then once that's in place, there's this other aspect of education, whether you're on the ground in a place and you need to focus on language education or agriculture or compost, fertilizer, different kinds of things like that. There's always going to be this necessity for these workshops to display like education in the region for the people that are affected by each different situation. But then beyond that, there's this other component I call Benefest, where this same gear, you could picture 10 of these teepees set up on a property, where instead of just workshops, as it is now in a rainbow situation, you have Benefest, where it's this whole organization, a whole festival type of atmosphere oriented around being beneficial, motivating people to want to being beneficial, and then bringing in people that have figured out how to be beneficial in different avenues. People that are working in refugee camps and permaculture projects, people that are doing climate change advocacy and other things like that, and bringing them in as like a demonstration, as a fun, festive way to show people how to be beneficial, and then to provide the avenues to get them into those mechanisms. So that's also a fundraising mechanism. This Benefest, using this same gear, would be a fundraising mechanism that was simultaneously channeling people kind of on the verge of some life transition into being able to be most effective according to their talents and their desires and their abilities.
So could you talk to us about the workshop and the workshop schedule and how this...
So the workshop teepee, this is, according to Guinness, the second largest teepee.
Wow.
This workshop teepee is kind of focusing on that, a small aspect of what I was talking about with Benefest, where it's able to bring people together to skill share, people that have talents or understandings of ideas and events, and they can, it's a participation-based place for people to get on the same page and figure out what's going on, because essentially this rainbow gathering is the largest peaceful assembly in the ecosystem anywhere in the world. And a part of peaceful assembly, part of the idea and the method of peaceful assembly is that we're coming together to understand what's going on. We're trying to figure out what's happening to the world and our place within it, and then how we can be most effective and most beneficial together. So these workshops are kind of a way to a forum, a space, like a stage to bring together that discussion and that understanding, so that we can work together to solve some of these problems.
And there's actually a workshop going on as we speak, and that's why we can't go in to show you the inside of the teepee.
But both of these spaces, this is a reading room with lots of different books. People can come to relax, and then the workshop for participation-based sharing of ideas and events.
Very cool. And could you tell us about the book collection?
Yeah, so
the library and how this works?
There's actually this quote banner in there that's kind of interesting. It's a collage of color from a little ways away. You'll see this quote banner. It's just a collage of color, and as you get closer and closer, you'll see that it's all the best ideas about engagement and activism and understanding the nature of reality from a lot of the people that have been the most effective in the past couple of 100 years, and you bring it together in these quotes where you can engage with each person directly, and then as you see the names of each person that said it, those people are represented in these books, so it's kind of a way to pull people in to being able to self-engage with some of the best thinkers, best minds and hearts that have explained to us what's happening, how we got into this predicament, and some of the solutions that we have to move forward. So it's just a kind of a small part of that educational aspect about getting people, motivating and inspiring people to be beneficial, and to showing them the specific avenues that they could accomplish that.
Very cool. Amazing. Extraordinary.
So it's been about a 6-year-long process of putting this together. Started with just a simple rainbow kitchen, and then it's moved into this whole separate humanitarian aid organization, and it's been a collection of a lot of different people's energy coming together from all over the country. And just last year we moved into a place where we were able to start taking donations, and we ran from disaster relief and Standing Rock almost entirely on donations, because the previous 5 years it had been just a labor of love. I'd put all my time and money into the thing, and so it just moved into an area where it's starting to be funded from external sources, and we were taking donations at paypal.me/lucidlorax. And then also, as part of the accountability and the transparency of the organization, I have this YouTube channel, the Lucid Lorax YouTube channel, where you can see the actions of the kitchen, where it goes, what it's doing, how it's conducting its affairs, and it even shows the expenses and the income and how everything is being allocated and run. So it's a method or a model of a radically transparent, small dynamic organization that uses funds completely efficiently with zero overhead.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thanks so much for talking with us. We're going to upload this video to Facebook and YouTube, and hopefully we get a lot of shares and a lot of attention, and more people check out some of the links and donate towards your projects. And it's amazing what you've been able to accomplish here, and all of your future endeavors. Very cool.
Thank you very much. It's been great to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you.